You spend 40 years dreaming about retirement, no more alarm clocks, no more bosses, total freedom. Finally, peace. Then it actually happens, and the silence is deafening, not the peaceful kind, the terrifying kind. Your phone stops ringing, your inbox goes empty, nobody needs you anymore. And you realize with crushing clarity that you weren't prepared for the quiet, the psychological quiet, the existential quiet. The who am I now is quiet. Studies show 40% of retirees experience depression in their first year, not from money problems, but from losses nobody warned them about. Things that go silent so fast, you don't have time to prepare emotionally. I'm about to show you 7 specific things that disappear after retirement that nobody talks about. Number 7 is the most profound. It's the silence that makes people question what they spent their whole life working toward. If you're retired, planning to retire, or just curious what actually happens, hit subscribe. Comment retired if you're there, planning if you're preparing, or working if it feels far away. Let me show you what goes silent first, and it happens within days. Thing 1, your phone and inbox, from essential to invisible. Let me show you the first thing that goes silent, and it happens shockingly fast, within days of your last day at work. Your phone, your inbox, the constant stream of "we need you" that drove you crazy for 40 years, it stops completely, and the silence is louder than the noise ever was. When you're working, your phone never shuts up. Emails at 6 a.m., calls during lunch, texts at 9 p.m. Can you handle this? We need your input. Quick question. You're annoyed, overwhelmed, and drowning in requests. You dream about the day when your phone finally goes quiet and people leave you alone. Then, you retire. Week 1, the phone goes silent. No calls. Inbox is empty except spam about extended car warranties. Nobody needs you. And suddenly that silence you craved? It feels like abandonment. Here's what nobody tells you. Professional relevance dies the second you walk out that door. You spent decades being essential, irreplaceable. The person everyone came to with problems. Retirement hits, and within a week, you realize they've already replaced you and have already moved on, already forgot you existed. Studies show this is one of the most psychologically damaging parts of retirement. Your brain spent 40 years interpreting being needed as mattering. When the phone stops ringing, your subconscious doesn't hear freedom. It hears, "You don't matter anymore." There's a verse in Ecclesiastes that asks, "What do people gain from all their labors?" It's a haunting question when labor suddenly stops. If all those years of work meant something, why did everyone move on so fast? There's a CEO I know who retired after 30 years running a company. Day 1 felt amazing. Slept in, no meetings, total freedom. Week 2, his phone hadn't rung in 6 days. No emails except automated newsletters. He texted an old colleague, "Hey, how's the project going?" Response came back, "Oh, we figured it out. All good." That's it. All good. No details. No wish you were here. Just, they're fine without him. He told me that moment broke something in him. I spent 3 decades thinking I was essential. Turns out I was just there. They replaced me in a week and didn't skip a beat. My phone going silent wasn't peaceful. It was devastating. But here's the thing. This is normal. It doesn't mean you didn't matter. It means organizations move forward because they have to. Your absence creates a vacuum. Someone fills it and life continues. That's not betrayal. That's how systems work. The problem is when you haven't prepared for it emotionally. When your entire identity and social life were tied to work and suddenly both disappear. So here's what you do before retiring. Build relationships and communities outside work. Not work friends who'll disappear. Actual friendships based on shared interests, not shared employer. Join groups where people need you for who you are, not what you do professionally. 6 months before retirement, join 2 to 3 non-work communities, hobby groups, volunteer organizations, faith communities, somewhere you contribute and people know your name. Build those relationships while you're still working so they're established when work ends. After you retire, reframe what a quiet phone means. It's not "nobody needs me," it's "I'm free from obligation." Then fill that freedom intentionally with new sources of contribution where people do need you. Just not for solving corporate problems. There's a woman who retired from executive management and her phone went silent, just like everyone else's. But she'd prepared. 6 months before retiring, she joined Habitat for Humanity, a local chess club, and started mentoring young entrepreneurs through a nonprofit. Her work phone went silent, but her personal phone got louder. Saturday mornings, Habitat crew texts about build schedules. Tuesday evenings, the chess club coordinates tournaments. On Thursday afternoons, mentees ask for advice on business challenges. A year later, her phone rang more than when she was working. But now it was friends inviting her to life, not bosses demanding her time. She told me, "My phone got quiet so it could get full again, with people who wanted me, not my job title. But I had to build that before I retired, not after." Your work phone going quiet isn't the end, it's a transition. But you have to build what replaces it before you need it, not after you're already drowning in silence. But the quiet phone is just the beginning of things you'll lose. Here's something even stranger that disappears, and it's something you've lived for your entire working life. Thing 2. When every day is Saturday, no day is. Here's something even stranger that disappears. Weekends. And I don't mean they go away. I mean they lose all meaning. When every day is Saturday, no day actually feels like Saturday anymore. Think about your working life. Monday through Friday, you grind. You push through. You tolerate meetings and deadlines and stress. And why? Because weekend is coming. Friday at 5 p.m. feels like winning the lottery every single week. Saturday morning sleeping in feels like a reward you earned. Sunday brunch hits different because you survived another week. The weekend is special because of the contrast. It only matters because Monday through Friday exist. Now you retire. Suddenly Monday is Saturday, Tuesday is Saturday, every day is the weekend. And within weeks you realize a horrible truth. If every day is special, no day is special. The anticipation is gone. The relief is gone. The "I earned this" feeling? Completely gone. You thought retirement would feel like a permanent vacation. Instead, it feels like floating in a timeless void where days blur together and nothing has rhythm. Psychological research backs this up. Humans need contrast to feel satisfaction. We need the valley to appreciate the peak. Weekend only feels amazing because of the work week. Remove the work week, and you remove the meaning of the weekend. There's another psychological principle here. Anticipation creates more happiness than the event itself. Studies show people are happiest on Wednesday, thinking about weekend plans, not necessarily on the weekend. Retirees lose that anticipation structure entirely. Nothing to look forward to because everything's always available. You wake up on Monday and think, what should I do today? Same question Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Every single day is one long, I could do anything, so I'll do nothing. No structure, no rhythm, no anchor points, just drift. The solution isn't to go back to work, it's to create new structure and new contrast in retirement. Intentional scheduling that creates rhythm without feeling like an obligation. Here's what that looks like practically. Designate certain days for certain activities. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are volunteer days or hobby days. Tuesday and Thursday are personal project days. Weekends are still different. Family time, travel, special events, whatever makes them distinct. Build rhythms that create anticipation again. Tuesday morning coffee with the same friend group. Now you have something to look forward to on Monday. Thursday evening chess club. Suddenly, Wednesday has meaning because tomorrow is chess night. Saturday date night with your spouse. Keep the weekend special, even though you're both retired. It's not about filling every hour. It's about creating enough structure that days have identity and you have things to anticipate. There's a teacher who retired after 35 years in the classroom. First month, every day felt the same. Wake up, coffee, TV, lunch, walk, TV, dinner, bed, repeat. By month 3, she was depressed. Days melted together. No Fridays to celebrate, no weekends to enjoy, just sameness. A friend who'd been retired longer told her, "You don't miss work, you miss having something to wake up for. You need new weekends." So she created structure. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, she volunteered at the library. 3 mornings a week, she had somewhere to be. Tuesday, she took a language class, something she'd always wanted to learn. Thursday, she joined a hiking group. Outdoors, social, physical. Weekends, she kept different. Grandkids visited, travel, special activities with her husband. A year later, her week had rhythm again. She looked forward to Tuesday's class. Wednesday, she'd think, tomorrow's hiking day. Weekends felt special again because they were distinctly different from weekdays, even though she wasn't working. She told me, I thought retirement meant no schedule. Turns out I needed my schedule, not my boss's schedule. Freedom without structure isn't freedom, it's just drift. I don't miss work, but I desperately missed having rhythm to my week. Retirement isn't about having no structure. It's about choosing your structure. Build rhythms that create anticipation. Make some days different from other days. Keep weekends special by making them distinct. Because if every day is Saturday, eventually no day feels like anything at all. And that's when retirement stops feeling like freedom and starts feeling like purgatory. And that loss of structure, that drift from day to day, leads directly to something most retirees are completely unprepared for. A crisis of identity that hits harder than anything else. Thing 3, your professional identity. And that loss of structure, that drift from day to day, leads directly to something most retirees are completely unprepared for. A full-blown identity crisis that makes you question who you even are. For 40 years, you had an instant answer to the question everyone asks. What do you do? I'm a teacher. I'm an engineer. I'm a manager. 3 words, and people immediately understood who you were, what you contributed, and where you fit in society. Your job title was your identity. It opened conversations. It earned respect. It gave you a place in the world. Then you retire. Someone asks, so what do you do? I'm retired. Awkward silence. The conversation just dies. Because retired isn't an identity. It's the absence of one. You're not something. You're just not working anymore. It feels like introducing yourself as nobody with extra steps. Studies show that 60% of retirees struggle with identity loss in their first year. And it makes sense. We spend 4 decades tying our self-worth to our profession. Accountant, nurse, executive. That title becomes who we are, not just what we do for money. Retirement strips that away overnight. And suddenly you're standing there thinking, if I'm not a career, then who the hell am I? Marcus Aurelius wrote, you are not your role. Beautiful philosophy. Completely useless when you've spent 40 years being your role and you have no idea who you are without it. Here's what makes this worse. Society treats retired like you're done, finished, on the shelf. You're not contributing anymore. You're just existing until you die. That's the subtext every time someone says, oh, you're retired, that's nice. Must be relaxing. Translation, you're irrelevant now. And deep down, part of you starts believing it. The solution isn't going back to work. It's reframing your identity before you retire. Define yourself beyond your job title while you still have the job. Practice describing yourself without mentioning your career. Instead of, I'm a lawyer, try, I'm someone who solves complex problems and helps people navigate difficult situations. That identity survives retirement. The lawyer title doesn't. After you retire, build a new active identity. Not, I'm retired. That's passive, past tense, dead. Instead, I mentor young entrepreneurs. I volunteer with Habitat for Humanity. I study classical music. I write about financial planning. Something active. Something present tense. Something that says you're still doing, still contributing, still relevant. There's a surgeon who retired at 65 after 40 years. His entire identity was wrapped up in being a surgeon, respected, essential, saving lives. The day he retired, he felt like he had died, but his body forgot to stop breathing. At parties, people would ask, what do you do? I'm retired. I used to be a surgeon. Used to be. Past tense, like talking about a dead person. He spiraled into depression for 6 months. His therapist finally said something that snapped him out of it. You're not retired from something. You're retired to something. The question is, to what? he started thinking differently. He wasn't retired from being a surgeon, he was retired from hospital employment. Big difference. He began teaching at the medical school, still a surgeon, new context. Took medical mission trips twice a year, still operating, still saving lives, just not for a paycheck. Started writing articles about surgical advances for medical journals. His new answer to "what do you do?" "I teach surgery and write about medical innovation." Not "I'm a retired surgeon." Active. Present tense identity intact. He told me, "I thought retirement meant the end of being a surgeon. It just meant the end of working in a hospital. I'm still a surgeon. I'm just applying it differently." That shift in language saved my life. Here's your move. Stop thinking of retirement as retiring from your career. Think of it as retiring to something new. You're not done. You're redirected. Before you retire, answer this. When I'm not working, I am someone who... Fill that blank with something true, something active, something that survives unemployment. After you retire, practice your new introduction. Not, "I'm retired," but "I." Meaningful thing. Own it. Believe it, because you're not finished, you're just playing a different game now. Retirement is a job change, not an identity death. You're not retired from being who you are. You're retired to being who you choose to be next. And losing that professional identity means losing something you didn't even realize you were addicted to. Something that kept you going for decades. Thing 4, the silence of success. And losing that professional identity means losing something you didn't even realize you were addicted to for 40 years. Recognition. Validation. The feedback that told you were succeeding. When you're working, you get constant validation. Performance reviews. "Great job this quarter." Promotions. "You earned this." Raises. "We value your contribution." Daily praise. "Thanks for handling that. You saved us. We couldn't do this without you." It's a steady drip of external validation that your brain becomes dependent on. You don't even realize how much you need it until it's gone. Then you retire, and the recognition stops. Completely. You do great things, finish a woodworking project, volunteer at the shelter, help a neighbor, learn a new skill, and nothing. No performance review, no raise, no employee of the month, nobody's grading you, nobody's praising you. Nobody's recognizing your achievement. You're succeeding in silence, and it feels like you're failing. Psychology research shows humans are hardwired for external validation. We evolved in tribes where social approval meant survival. Work hijacks that system, gives us structured recognition for 40 years. Retirement cuts off the supply, and your brain goes into withdrawal. It's not that you're shallow or insecure. It's that you spent 4 decades in a system that trained you to measure success by other people's approval. Remove the system, and you don't know if you're winning or losing anymore. Here's what makes this brutal. You're still the same capable person. You're still achieving things. But if nobody notices, did it even matter? That's the question that haunts retirees at 3 a.m. The solution is building new sources of validation outside employment. Places where your contribution gets noticed and appreciated. Structures where achievement is recognized. Options. Volunteer work where the community explicitly thanks you. Teaching or mentoring where students express gratitude. Creative pursuits where you get audience feedback. Competitions or hobbies with measurable achievement. Running a 5K, finishing a painting, completing a project. The key is you need some form of good job feedback. Just not from an employer. There's a manager who retired after 30 years climbing the corporate ladder. She'd gotten promotions, raises, awards, and recognition constantly. Her identity was tied to being a high performer. Retirement hit, and suddenly, no performance reviews, no employee of the month, no raises, no recognition structure at all. She'd work hard on something, organize a community event, help at church, finish a project, and hear nothing. Maybe a polite thanks, but no real recognition. 6 months in, she felt completely lost. Am I doing well? Am I succeeding? I have no idea. There's no feedback system. It's like screaming into a void. She joined community theater on a whim, something she'd always wanted to try. First show, she had a small part. Opening night, she walked on stage, delivered her lines, and the audience applauded. Literal, audible validation. She almost cried. After the show, cast members hugged her, told her she was great, and celebrated together. It was the first time in 6 months she'd felt recognized for doing something well. She also started woodworking and selling pieces on Etsy. Customer reviews became her new performance reviews. Beautiful work, exceeded expectations. Thank you. External validation, a different source. And she started mentoring at the community college. Students would email, "Thank you for believing in me. Your advice changed my approach. I got the job." Validation that her contribution mattered. A year later, she told me, "I don't need my boss's approval anymore, but I absolutely need someone's appreciation." Humans aren't built to achieve in complete silence. I just had to find new sources of recognition that weren't tied to employment. Here's your move before retiring. Ask yourself honestly, where will I get good job feedback? What will make me feel like I'm achieving something? Who will notice when I excel? If you don't have answers, build those systems before you retire. Join groups where contribution is recognized. Develop skills where achievement is measurable. Create outlets where people give feedback. After retiring, don't expect yourself to be okay with achieving in silence. You won't be, and that's normal. Just build new recognition structures. Volunteer appreciation, student gratitude, customer reviews, competition results, audience applause, whatever works. You don't need a boss's approval, but you do need someone's recognition. That's not weakness, that's being human. And without that constant validation, something else starts to fade that nobody expects. Relationships you thought were solid. Thing 5, work friendships. And without that constant validation, something else starts to fade that nobody expects. The friendships you thought were solid, the people you spend more time with than your own family, your work friends. For years, you had lunch together every day. Happy hours on Fridays, inside jokes, venting sessions about the boss. You texted on weekends, you knew their kids' names. You thought, these are my real friends, we'll stay close forever. Then you retire. And they disappear. Fast. In month 1, you have lunch with a few of them. We'll do this every week. Month 2, scheduling gets harder. Month 3, you're the only one suggesting meetups. Month 6, your texts go unanswered. By month 12, you've accepted the painful truth. Those friendships were built on proximity and shared misery, not actual connection. Studies show that 70% of retirees lose contact with work friends within 6 months of retiring. Not because people are bad or fake, but because those relationships were context dependent. You were work friends, work ended, the foundation disappeared. There's a proverb that says, some friends play at friendship, but a true friend sticks closer than a brother. Retirement is the test that reveals which was which, and most don't pass. Here's what hurts. You thought you had 20 close friends. Turns out you had 20 colleagues you were friendly with. There's a massive difference, and retirement exposes it brutally. It's not betrayal. It's just reality. You bonded over shared context. Same office, same boss, same complaints, same daily grind. Remove the context, and the bond disappears. Conversations without work topics feel empty. You realize you don't actually have much in common beyond the job you no longer share. This is one of the loneliest parts of retirement nobody warns you about. You go from daily social interaction with friends to silence. They're still texting each other. You see it on social media. They're just not texting you because you're not in the context anymore. The solution isn't trying to force dying friendships to survive. It's understanding what they were and building what you actually need. Before retiring, test your work friendships. Invite them to non-work activities. Dinner, hiking, concert, anything that doesn't involve the office. Do they show up? Do conversations flow without work topics? That's your answer about friendship depth. Expect most work friendships to fade after retirement. That's normal. Let them go gracefully without bitterness. They were real, just situational. You shared a season of life, the season ended. Then invest in building new friendships based on current shared interests. Join clubs, take classes, volunteer. Find people who share your present reality, not your past employment. There's a sales manager who retired with 20 close work friends. First month, she had lunch with 5 of them. Great conversations, lots of, "We'll do this monthly." In month 3, only 2 responded to texts. Month 6, 0 contact. Complete silence. She was devastated. They weren't real friends. I wasted years on fake relationships. Her mentor, also retired, told her something that reframed everything. They were real, just context dependent. You were work friends. Work's over. That's not betrayal. That's how proximity-based relationships work. You didn't waste years. You had workplace companionship. Now you need different friendships for this season. She joined a book club, a hiking group, and started attending church regularly. Within a year, she had 6 close friends, none from her old job. These friendships were built on current shared interests: books, hiking, and faith, not nostalgia about the office. She told me, "I confused proximity with depth. I thought spending 40 hours a week with people meant we were close. We were close there, but we weren't built for here. My new friends, we chose each other based on who we are now, not who we were at work." That's a different kind of friendship, smaller circle, but deeper. Here's the truth. Work friendships are real but context dependent. They serve a purpose during working years. They're not designed to survive retirement, and that's okay. You're not losing friends, you're losing colleagues. And that frees you to build actual chosen friendships based on your current life, not your past career. Don't chase fading work relationships. Let them go with gratitude for what they were. Then invest that energy in new communities where your presence today matters, not your job title yesterday. But perhaps the most unsettling thing that goes quiet after retirement isn't external, it's internal. It's a driving force you didn't realize you needed. Thing 6, your sense of urgency. But perhaps the most unsettling thing that goes quiet after retirement isn't external, it's internal. It's something that pushed you forward for 40 years, and the second it's gone, you realize how much you depended on it. Your sense of urgency, the deadlines, the "this needs to be done by Friday," the projects with timelines, the constant low-grade pressure that kept you moving. When you're working, you hate it. "I'm so sick of deadlines. I just want time to breathe. I can't wait until nothing has to get done." You dream of a life with zero pressure, unlimited time, and no urgency whatsoever. Then retirement hits, and you get exactly what you wished for. No deadlines, no urgency, nothing has to get done. Ever. And it's awful. You wake up on Monday, "I should organize the garage." But there's no deadline, so tomorrow. Tuesday, "I'll start that tomorrow." Wednesday, "Maybe next week." 6 months later, the garage still isn't organized, and you've stopped even thinking about it. "I'll finally write that book." Year 1, 0 pages. "I'll learn guitar." The guitar collects dust. "I'll get in shape." Gym membership unused. Why? Because unlimited time paradoxically means nothing gets done. There's a principle called Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time available. The inverse is also true. When all time is available, work never starts. Psychology research proves this. Humans need constraints to create. Give someone a week to finish a project, and they finish it. Give them unlimited time, they procrastinate forever. Urgency isn't the enemy, it's fuel. There's a verse in James that says, "You don't know what tomorrow will bring." It's a reminder that urgency keeps us engaged with life. When there's no tomorrow that matters, today stops mattering too. Retirees report the same pattern. "I'll do it tomorrow" becomes "I'll do it next week." Becomes "I'll do it someday." Becomes "I'll never do it." Without external deadlines, internal motivation evaporates. The solution isn't going back to stressful deadlines, it's creating chosen urgency, self-imposed structure that creates movement without pressure. Here's what that looks like. Set personal deadlines with real consequences. "I'll finish this painting by the end of the month. It's my grandson's birthday gift." Now there's a deadline. Join groups with attendance expectations, writing groups, exercise classes, volunteer commitments. You can't just skip without letting people down. Sign up for events months in advance. A marathon, a trip, a performance. Creates a goalpost to work toward. The key is replacing external urgency, boss's deadline, with internal urgency, personal commitment with real stakes. There's an engineer who retired wanting to write a book. I finally have time. Year 1 passed. 0 pages written. He'd sit down to write, think, I'll do this tomorrow, and watch TV instead. A friend asked him, why haven't you started? He said, I don't know. I have all the time in the world. I just haven't. His friend nailed it. Retirement gave you time, but took your urgency. You spent 40 years with deadlines driving you. Now there's no deadline, so there's no drive. You need both time and urgency. The engineer joined a writing group that met weekly, couldn't show up empty-handed without looking like a slacker. Registered for a writer's conference 6 months out, needed something to present. Committed to reading 1 chapter to the group monthly. Real accountability. 18 months later, his book was finished. Not because he suddenly got disciplined, because he recreated urgency through chosen constraints. He told me, unlimited time was my enemy, not my friend. It removed all pressure, which removed all action. I thought I needed freedom from deadlines. Turns out I needed freedom to create my own deadlines. That's completely different. Here's your move in the first weeks of retirement. Don't coast. Create a project with a real deadline. Join a group with attendance expectations. Sign up for an event 3 to 6 months out that requires preparation. Build chosen urgency into your life. Not stress, drive. Not pressure from others, commitment to yourself. Because urgency isn't the problem. Urgency is the fuel that kept you engaged with life for 40 years. Remove it entirely, and you don't relax, you drift. And drifting sounds peaceful until you realize you've been drifting for 5 years and haven't accomplished a single thing you said you would. Urgency isn't stress. It's purpose in motion. Retirement removes external urgency. You must create internal urgency, or you'll spend retirement saying someday until someday never comes. And that drift, that loss of urgency and forward motion, leads to the final and perhaps most profound silence. Something existential that hits harder than anything else. Thing 7, the future plans. And that drift, that loss of urgency and forward motion, leads to the final and perhaps most profound silence of all. This one's existential. This one keeps people up at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, wondering what the point of it all was. The silence of what's next. Your entire working life you were building towards something. Promotion. Next raise. The retirement fund is hitting a certain number. The house paid off. The day when you could finally stop. Every morning you woke up with a goalpost in the distance. Just 10 more years. Just 5 more years. Just until I hit this number. You spent 40 years in motion, always moving toward the thing that would finally give you peace. Then you retire. You arrive. You did it. You reached the goal you chased for 4 decades. And the first thought that hits you is, okay, now what? The goalpost is gone. The thing you built your entire adult life around, reaching retirement, is complete. You're standing at the finish line, and there's nothing. No next race, no next goal, just empty space where your purpose used to be. Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps, wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." He was right. The why kept you going through 40 years of meetings, stress, commutes, and corporate nonsense. But retirement removes the why that most people spent their lives clinging to. You worked toward retirement, you reached retirement, and you realize with crushing clarity, the journey was the meaning, not the destination. Building toward the goal gave you purpose. Arriving at the goal left you purposeless. Studies show this is why so many retirees spiral into depression in the first year. It's not money problems, most plan financially. It's existential emptiness. They spent their whole lives preparing for this moment, and now that they're here, they don't know what they're alive for anymore. Here's the brutal question. If you spent 40 years building toward retirement, what are you building toward now? Because humans don't do well without a toward. We're builders. We need something in the distance pulling us forward. Take that away, and we collapse inward. The solution isn't finding one final goal. It's understanding that retirement isn't a finish line. It's a base camp for new mountains you choose to climb. You're not retiring from something, you're retiring to something. The question is, to what? Before you retire, answer this specifically. Retirement is my freedom to... Not vague nonsense like relax, something concrete. Learn Italian fluently and spend 3 months in Italy. Master woodworking and build furniture for my grandkids. Write the book I never had time for. Restore a classic car. Hike every major trail in my state. Give yourself a new toward before the old one disappears. After retiring, refresh your toward every 6 months. Always have a next thing you're building, creating, pursuing. Not because you have to, because purpose requires motion. Stagnation is death by another name. There's a CFO who retired at 62, financially set for life, spent his whole career building toward this moment. Month 1 felt great, sleeping in, no stress, total freedom. Month 6, he was clinically depressed, sitting in his therapist's office, asking, "Why do I feel like my life is over when it's supposed to just be beginning?" His therapist said something that changed everything. "You spent 40 years climbing a mountain. You reached the summit. Congratulations. But the summit isn't a destination. It's a base camp for the next mountain. The problem isn't that you finished climbing. It's that you think finishing one mountain means you stop climbing forever." The CFO sat there stunned. What's my next mountain? He thought for weeks, finally decided he'd always wanted to play piano, but never had time. That was his next mountain. Not learn a few songs, master the piano. Real skill, real commitment, real journey. 5 years later, he plays beautifully, performs at community events, teaches piano to kids at the rec center. He's not done climbing, he's just climbing different terrain now. He told me, retirement isn't the end of building. It's freedom to build what you choose instead of what your job required. I spent 40 years building someone else's vision. Now I'm building my vision. I'm not working toward retirement anymore. I'm working toward becoming the person I always wanted to be, but never had time to become. Here's the shift. Stop thinking of retirement as arriving. Think of it as starting. You didn't finish life, you finished one chapter of life. The next chapter is blank pages. You get to write it. But blank pages aren't peaceful. They're terrifying unless you pick up the pen and start writing. Every 6 months in retirement, ask, what am I building toward right now? If the answer is nothing, you're in danger. Find something. Anything. A skill to master, a place to visit, a project to complete, a person to help, a legacy to leave. The silence of arrived is deadly. Replace it with the sound of becoming. Because retirement isn't about stopping. It's about starting the life you design instead of the life your paycheck demands. But you have to design it. Nobody's going to hand you purpose. You have to build it. And building requires a goalpost in the distance, always. All of the above reveals one truth about retirement most people learn too late, and it's not what you think. So there they are, 7 things that go quiet after retirement. Your phone and inbox, weekends losing meaning, professional identity disappearing, recognition and validation stopping, work friendships fading, sense of urgency evaporating, and future plans ending with nothing to replace them. Retirement isn't just a financial transition, it's a psychological earthquake, and most people prepare for the money, but not for the silence. Here's what you do. Prepare emotionally, not just financially. Build friendships outside work now. Develop identity beyond your job title. Create structure and purpose before retiring. Don't wait until your phone goes silent to realize you needed the noise. Hit subscribe if this opened your eyes. Comment which one scares you most. Drop a number 1 through 7. Already retired? Comment truth if you're living this. Planning retirement? Comment preparing and which thing you'll address first. Want videos on building purpose in retirement, creating post-work friendships, or identity beyond career? Comment on the topic. Retirement can be freedom or a void. The difference isn't money, it's preparation for the silence. Will you be ready?